Boss asked me to pair up with a popular idol on a reality show to create black-red buzz. But who knew a movie emperor would always obstruct, pouring cold water on the fire of ambiguity I had finally ignited. Finally, I called the movie emperor and yelled, "Are you annoying or what?" Unexpectedly, that 188 centimeters alpha male who dominates the entertainment circle was now on the other end, saying pitifully, "Why won't you pair up with me? Am I not standing high enough?" The audience exploded. "Mom, I've made it. In my lifetime, I actually get to see a popular movie emperor harassing a nobody actress. My name is Xian'an, a small-time celebrity struggling at the bottom of the entertainment circle. I lay dormant in the entertainment circle for a whole year, the only appearance being a minor maidservant in a TV drama, the kind dragged off and executed after 2 episodes. So boss grabbed a variety show for me. In that 3-day live reality show, I needed to unilaterally tie up with the popular idol Zheng Fei, taking the black-red route. Boss said, "Black-red is also red." On the shooting day, I stood behind a curtain with a group of stars, queuing to go in and introduce myself. In front were the hot popular idol Zheng Fei, the national good girl Xian'an Fei, the popular singer Chen Feiyu, the rising flower song Gigi, and the movie emperor Xian'an, who suddenly joined the day before shooting. Online, everyone said Xian'an never participated in variety shows, and this exception was definitely for Xian'an Fei. After all, in all his years since debut, the movie emperor Gu had only had scandals with Xian'an Fei. I secretly glanced at the tall man standing beside. The man's profile was as sharp as a knife, his eyes deep and dark, nose tall, figure slender, exuding an aloof and cold temperament. That face was too handsome, I couldn't help but sneak a few more glances. Then, those deep eyes looked toward me. "Little junior sister, why are you peeking at me?" What happened later was a bit hazy, I only remembered that this familiar tease kept echoing in my mind pathetically. When I came back to my senses, Xian'an had already returned to his cold expression, as if that low whisper just now was my illusion. Xian'an Fei wore a bun hairstyle, youthful and playful, leaning intimately toward him. "Senior Gu, I brought my own handmade milk tea. I'll give it to you later, okay? Can't you walk upright? Don't lean so close to me." The man's cold voice was neither loud nor quiet, just reaching everyone's ears here. Everyone was a veteran who had struggled in the entertainment circle for years. They all kept silent and did their own things, not raising their heads to see Xian'an Fei's embarrassed face. Xian'an Fei had anger but nowhere to vent, angrily looking around, finally meeting my nobody actress self. She said arrogantly, "How can someone who started as a walk-on maidservant also participate in this kind of variety show? The back door is too obvious." I tilted my head, gave her a bright smile, and said, "No, my company worked hard to get this show for me. I came in through the front door." Everyone was stunned for a moment, perhaps not expecting me to dare talk back to Xian'an Fei. Xian'an casually said, "Speaking of which, I started my career playing a beggar too. I guess I shouldn't be here either." No one dared to slight a best actor saying such things. Everyone around scrambled to smooth things over, and Xian'an Fei was even more embarrassed. Finally, the director ducked in from behind the curtain and shouted, "Action." But in fact, this episode had been live-streaming ever since the first reminder to prepare from the staff. This was the realness effect this reality show touted, even the stars and their companies didn't know. Despite the high risk, within less than half an hour of airing, the show had hit the trending list 3 times. Hashtag National Daughter Bullying Best Actor Hashtag Gu Best Actor Gentlemanly Manner Hashtag Who is Newcomer Xian'an Hashtag Where we couldn't see, the online barrage was already exploding. Xian'an Fei doesn't know how to talk, picking on a newcomer and a senior. Nothing like a national daughter. Upstairs, our Fei meant no harm, okay? Our Xian'an is so gentlemanly, I love him, but that newcomer girl is kind of pretty? No way, someone likes a nepotism hire, no matter how the barrage argued. Once off the curtain, everyone changed faces, all friendly, warm, and hospitable. Except Xian'an. His cold temperament was known inside and outside the industry. Besides, he had strength and status, no need for a smile to maintain any persona or popularity. I silently sighed at the gap between people while looking around for my main mission, Zheng Fei's position. After all, as long as I could be in the same frame, being scolded was fine. I felt like a bootlicker. Zheng Fei stood third from the right, far from me. No choice, I had to try to edge over. But as luck would have it, when the camera moved, I ended up right in the small gap between Gu Best Actor and Xian'an Fei. So the whole nation saw me, amid everyone's casual chatting and laughing, smoothing my hair, picking at my nails, deliberately yet not too obviously. Trying to break up Gu Xian'an and Xian'an Fei, the hot real couple. Is this newcomer secretly crushing on Gu Best Actor, trying to be the mistress? Don't talk nonsense. Gu Best Actor might not be Xian'an Fei's real boyfriend. Hey, the Best Actor has had no scandals since debut, and now he's with Xian'an Fei on a couple column. Do you need to think about it? Since I was new and shameless, my measly 3,000 Weibo followers obviously couldn't out-argue the big names. Online comments all leaned toward Qingwanwan as fake. If my boss saw, he'd surely cheer, first step toward black and red success achieved. But at that time I didn't know, still carefully edging toward Zheng Fei. Just as I was about to succeed, a hand suddenly grabbed my collar from behind. I looked up blankly, meeting Gu Xian'an's half-smiling eyes. Just stand here. The teams were decided long ago, and being closer to him won't change that. What did actor Gu say to her? Can't I, a VIP member, hear it too? Capital is really powerful, able to make actor Gu favor her. Is this newcomer using connections to get through actor Gu's back door? Off camera, I'm being torn apart. On camera, I'm not faring any better. I'm praying that when teams are formed, my CP will be Zheng Fei. This show has 3 teams, using a couple-style 1 male 1 female pairing to complete stage tasks and win. Because of this, viewers can ship heavily. That's also the favorable factor for why boss wants me to crash into Zheng Fei. But if that's the case, boss might have already arranged it, and my bound CP is definitely Zheng Fei. Thinking this, I feel a bit relieved. Soon it's time for the director to announce the teams, and he reads out Gu Xian'an's name meaningfully. Everyone looks at Xian'an Fei. Xian'an Fei shows a sweet, understanding smile and says, "Oh, it might not be me, you know." Then she subtly adjusts her collar, preparing for the camera. Though I want to mock Xian'an Fei's slight hypocrisy, that's not the priority now. Maybe I caught a chill backstage, because I've been holding back a sniffle for a while. I quietly pull out a tissue, ready to quickly wipe my nose when they give Xian'an Fei a close-up. Gu Xian'an's CP is, I happily take out the tissue. Qingwanwan. My sniffle and my left hand wiping my nose freeze on my face. I mean, does this have to be so mortifying? I hear Gu Xian'an above me to the right, unable to hold back, letting out a pfft laugh. Then the laughter spreads, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and except for Xian'an Fei's deadpan expression with a forced smile worse than a frown, the whole studio is laughing at me. I force calm and finish wiping my nose, saying, sorry about that, I lost my composure. There are so many cracks in the world, why isn't one meant for me? This is hilarious, how is this newcomer both silly and cute? Hey, what's cute about her? Why does she get to break up actor Gu and Fei Fei? Exactly, damn capitalists. Fei Fei is so generous, not saying anything even when her CP is stolen. When the director announces that I'm teamed with Gu Xian'an, I clearly catch a hint of hatred in Xian'an Fei's eyes. I really want to walk up to her ear and whisper. Sis, please don't hate me, I'm just a nobody, I have no choice either. This is also because neither Xian'an Fei nor boss's backing is strong enough, cooling both sides' plans at once. But I still have to keep up appearances. I pull a grim face, barely lifting the corners of my mouth, and say a playful line that doesn't match my mood. I'll be troubling Senior Gu this week, then. Gu Xian'an smiles at me, his cold demeanor seeming to scatter in an instant, blooming into bright flowers. He said, no trouble, as long as you don't despise me. The internet instantly exploded frowny face wow. Is this still that arrogant, stay away from me, grumpy-faced best actor? Don't you think, the two of them actually look quite well matched in terms of looks? Upstairs, haven't you seen the gossip about Xian'an? Huh, what gossip? God, who's the capitalist backing Xian'an? Making Gu best actor give in, she's got dirty history and still gets on a variety show. People like Xian'an with no character should just get out of the entertainment industry. When Xian'an was talking to me, I felt the jealousy behind me about to pierce through my back. In places the camera couldn't reach, Zheng Fei wasn't even pretending. But sis, I'm angry too. If you had been more ambitious, I could have teamed up with Zheng Fei, you know. Since it was the first day, the tasks were all relatively simple and boring, more geared toward getting the members to know and understand each other. Even though I wasn't assigned to Zheng Fei's group, I still had to work hard. Boss once said, because Zheng Fei has the most fangirl fans, and they're low age, only by writing on him can I get the biggest buzz and be easier to whitewash in the future. So for the whole afternoon of the clay pottery hands-on game, I kept an eye on that male idol with dark brown hair, a signature oval face, and a somewhat effeminately handsome look. To be honest, he's not my type, I prefer a tougher man like the kind Xian'an is, being pestered by Zheng Fei right now, looks thin in clothes but has muscle when stripped. Strangely enough, Xian'an always gives me an inexplicable sense of familiarity, but I can't recall why. Could this be the filter and fantasy effect that comes with being a best actor? I shook my head and refocused my gaze around Zheng Fei. Zheng Fei's teammate was Song Jiji, a rising flower from web dramas, with a more petite and gentle appearance. If I remember correctly, her niche is the same as the pure daughter Zheng Fei's, they count as competitors. Boss said I'm the cool and seductive type, different from them, so I don't need to fear being targeted. But he forgot, Zheng Fei and I have some history. What's wrong? Not feeling well? The sudden voice startled me. Looking up, I saw Xian'an had taken off his mic, with concern in his eyes. I shook my head, thought for a moment, and imitated him by taking off my mic as well, then gathered the courage to ask, Xian'an, do we know each other from before? Xian'an was stunned for a moment on hearing this, but quickly returned to his usual expression. He said, what do you think? I think. Definitely not. Otherwise, with such a handsome guy and a best actor by my side, how could I not remember? Taking advantage that the camera wasn't pointing at us, I leaned in and asked him in a cheeky tone, then why are you always so concerned about me? Don't tell me you like me? Who would have thought my teasing words wouldn't fall flat? Xian'an pursed his lips and smiled, then said, so you caught that, huh? I was so shocked my jaw nearly hit the floor. A best actor who had nothing to do with me fell for me at first sight today? Who would believe that? This world is just too see. Because recording the show confiscated electronic devices, boss could only have someone tell me, hoping I would keep it up tomorrow, and if possible, continue to clash with Zheng Fei. Not being lovers can still be siblings, the goal being to boost popularity further. I wondered, why not just clash with the movie Emperor? The messenger hesitated, saying the movie Emperor's team was too hard to stir up CP with, afraid of backfiring. One slip and it wouldn't be black and red but quitting the circle, not worth the gamble. It turned out Zheng Fei's team had clashed with the movie Emperor before and got a lawyer's letter rudely. Alright, I tried to refocus on recording the show. The next day's task was much more interesting than the first. We arrived at Sea City's beach, and the director announced the rule, find the hermit crabs. That is, whichever team finds the most hermit crabs in this area wins. The director mysteriously told us that during the search, we might get the show's hidden big gift pack. The finder could designate a member of the opposite sex to go to Romance Island for a full-day couple-themed shoot. I could feel everyone perking up, since it was about designating a member and themed shoot, meaning both hype and screen time. The show team really knows how to stir things up, interesting, fun. Love watching this, I've always felt many CPs don't match. I was very interested in the couple trip, since it meant openly clashing with Zheng Fei. But Gu Xian'an, buried in searching and striving to be first, seemed even more interested than me. And Zheng Fei was even more hardworking than both of us. She frantically dug for hermit crabs, forcefully pushed me aside, and pretended to accidentally sit in front of Gu Xian'an, leaning sideways and acting cute. "Oh, the sun is so strong, am I a bit heat-struck?" Gu Xian'an's face was dark enough to drip water. I'm dying laughing. "But it's fine." I took the chance to leave, caught sight of the handsome male idol not far away digging in the sand, smiled with bright eyes, tilted my head and asked him, "Zheng Fei, do you know what a hermit crab looks like?" Zheng Fei seemed surprised. I suddenly ran over to ask, but still flashed his signature smile and said, "I just found a lot, how about I give you one, and you look for them like this?" With that, Zheng Fei reached into his bucket and took out a small crab for me. "Ah, my Fei Fei is so handsome, the girl seems really interested in Zheng Fei." "Don't talk nonsense, my Fei Fei doesn't date or stir up CP. Support the above, and I'm sticking with goodnight CP." I pretended to be pleasantly surprised as I took the small crab Zheng Fei gave me, saying, "Oh, so cute." Then, before I could finish, I suddenly felt a strange force at my collar. I instinctively stepped back a big step, bumping into someone's firm chest. By the time I reacted again, that someone's hand was already on my right shoulder. I looked up blankly, only to see the man's wrist resting on my shoulder, a 3-centimeter scar strikingly visible. Before I could react, Gu Xian'an's sharply defined jawline appeared before me, his tall nose bridged delicate and straight. "Told you to trick a crab over, why did it take so long?" The man's low voice carried a hint of teasing. My face flushed bright red instantly. Afraid Zheng Fei might misunderstand, I quickly jumped out of his embrace. But Zheng Fei thought it was just a variety show effect and pretended to regret, saying, "Ha. Got tricked by a beauty trap." Gu Xian'an smiled, took the little crab from my hand, and placed it into our bucket. I then noticed our bucket was densely packed, all small crabs. Had he just flipped through the entire beach? Crazy. Why did the best actor hug Qing Wanwan? Qing Wanwan is clearly a nobody. The love story of a celibate male star and a cold small-time nobody. Scared me. I thought Qing Wanwan and Zheng Fei had something, turns out it's Gu's strategy. But Gu found way too many hermit crabs. Following above, feels like they'd taste great boiled. Hoping for a response from Qing Wanwan on the black material, I don't think she's a bad person. After the pink bubbles with Zheng Fei were burst, I no longer wanted to deal with Gu Xian'an. But he seemed in a great mood, following closely behind me with the pink bucket, not caring whether there were hermit crabs where I walked. Taking advantage of the camera shifting to others, I turned back and glared at Gu Xian'an, snorting coldly, "Why are you always following me?" Gu Xian'an crouched on the ground, his distinct finger bones scratching the sand, saying to me somewhat aggrievedly, "We're on the same team." I really wanted to call the cameraman over for a close-up, to let the nationwide audience see this high-cold best actor, who was said to be expressionless even at award ceremonies. "I don't want to be on your team." I fiercely placed my left foot on the nearby reef, waved my fist at him, and mouthed that I wanted to punch him away. How to put it, when you're weak, even your anger looks cute to others. Gu Xian'an just laughed out loud in front of me, a laugh that wouldn't stop. His slender peach blossom eyes curved into crescents, completely devoid of the aloofness and coldness others usually see. "So you want to be on Zheng Fei's team?" Gu Xian'an wiped away the tears from laughing and asked me. "Yes." "You like him?" "Of course. Don't believe it." Gu Xian'an glanced contemptuously at Zheng Fei, who was busy searching for hermit crabs in the distance, his voice seeming to carry some jealousy. "That guy, growing up by the coast, spent half an hour finding less than what I found in 3 minutes." I was both amused and exasperated, saying, "Then I like men who find less." Gu Xian'an stood up, patted the sand off his butt, and said, "Let's go." "Where to?" I asked. "To release them." Gu Xian'an showed me the bucket full of hermit crabs and said matter-of-factly, "You like men with empty buckets." I almost laughed out loud, but then I turned around and scolded, "Boring." Gu Xian'an stuck to me like a plaster again. I was about to push him away when I suddenly noticed something reflecting light near the rocks not far away. I pointed at that spot before I could react, and Gu Xian'an, relying on his long legs, strode over in a few quick steps. He held up a sign with one hand that read "Big Gift Pack" and laughed, "1-1. We won." Sunlight spilled over the golden sand, and Gu Xian'an appeared as if outlined by light. But his eyes, looking at me, were deep and dark, and he whispered, "Happy? Happy?" I smiled at him genuinely, the stray hair on my forehead fluttering in the wind. On the last evening, the show crew specially arranged a chat party. But tonight, Gu Xian'an would be absent due to a scene he had to shoot. The director naturally understood, since they could make up for it with a full day of shots of the best actor the next day, so it didn't matter much. After all, Gu Xian'an usually kept a low profile, only acting or promoting, and rarely appeared otherwise. Zheng Fei, who had been holding in her anger for 2 days, didn't even bother to pretend anymore. When we met at the entrance, her eyes almost pierced through me. "Oh, so boring. How about we play Truth or Dare?" Zheng Fei asked with a sweet smile. "Sure, since it's a chat party anyway." Zheng Fei was the first to pick up the thread, and everyone agreed. The rule was to spin a water bottle 360 degrees, whoever the bottle cap pointed to lost. After a few rounds, the questions everyone asked were very casual and friendly. When the bottle cap landed on me, I could practically feel Zheng Fei's excitement. Truth. I pretended to be sad, hugging my knees, and said, "Everyone, keep it simple, okay? Wan is so beautiful and well-behaved, sitting quietly there the whole time. Hey, that's a portrait of an introvert at a gathering. Woo-woo, whose wife is this?" I've turned from a passerby to a fan. "Why did you only play a maidservant in your first year of debut?" Zheng Fei quickly threw out this question, then added guiltily, "Sister Wan won't mind, right? I'm just curious." Everyone knew Zheng Fei had bad intentions, and no one dared to respond, leaving a moment of silence. I tilted my head and looked at Zheng Fei, smiled, and said, "Actually, I wasn't playing a maidservant at that time. I successfully auditioned for the lead female role. But I lacked experience, and the day before filming started, I was replaced by a more experienced actress." Replaced the day before filming started, the only possibility was that the other party had connections. The drama I acted in was called River, Mist and Rain, and the lead female role in that drama was none other than Zheng Fei. For a moment, the internet was abuzz with discussion, and Zheng Fei's "suspected of entering the cast with funding, bullying newcomers" quickly trended. "I told you. Zheng Fei doesn't match the original female lead at all, Wan is more suitable." "Huh, this is capital for you, and this is called the nation's good daughter? Don't just listen to Ching Wan's one-sided story. Who's right or wrong is still uncertain." Laughing to death, what did our Wan say? "These are all facts dug up by netizens, stop arguing. Ching Wan is mired in scandals and has a bad reputation." "They're about the same." Zheng Fei was stunned by my answer. She had no idea that I had successfully auditioned for the lead female role back then, because when she snatched that role, she didn't even know me, a nobody. And my history with her began on the first day of filming, when the director reassigned me to a third female lead position. At that time, Zheng Fei and I were rehearsing the second scene. She said my makeup was too distracting and insisted on removing me. The director had no choice but to urgently swap me to a minor maid role. Logically, I should hate her for this, but why has she been targeting me all along? I think it's probably because on the first day of shooting, when Zheng Fei was toasting everyone, the upright assistant director, who had brought in funding, kept giving her cold looks and specifically praised me. The assistant director had some prestige in the industry, and this favoritism made her lose face that day. So, after a year in the industry, I was still a newcomer, and inevitably, the jealous Zheng Fei held a grudge against me. I said calmly, "Well, let's start the next round." Everyone snapped back to attention and pretended not to care about the previous question, continuing the game. This time, it was Su Yuanfei's turn. Truth or dare? Maybe having been burned by the truth question, Su Yuanfei quickly chose dare. But no one spoke up. Everyone in the circle knew something about Su Yuanfei's character. They were afraid of accidentally saying something that would upset her and earn her resentment. Seeing everyone silent, I had to break the deadlock. Call your bestie Yang Yang and say good evening. Yang Yang was Su Yuanfei's famously good friend in the entertainment circle. It was rumored they had been classmates since kindergarten and entered the industry together to chase their dreams. This appealing duo attracted many sister fan couples. Of course, I'm not that magnanimous. I'm not a naive little bunny who would remain indifferent after being targeted and resented. I deliberately suggested she call Yang Yang. Because I knew that Yang Yang and Su Yuanfei were even more fake than plastic sisters. This morning, while washing my hands in the restroom, I overheard Su Yuanfei on the phone with Yang Yang. They used the most venomous words possible. Roughly, Yang Yang blamed Su Yuanfei for offending a movie king, and Su Yuanfei blamed Yang Yang for having poor resources and no influence. Hearing my suggestion, Su Yuanfei immediately darkened her face and was about to refuse. I spoke before she could, just calling your good friend. Sister Yuanfei wouldn't be unwilling, would she? Or have you two fallen out, making it inconvenient to call? To the audience, calling a best friend is the most ordinary thing. Su Yuanfei had no reason to refuse, unless she had something to hide. Su Yuanfei shot me a hateful glance, then forced a smile in front of the camera. What's inconvenient about that? But her hand holding the phone was pale, and because she was gripping too hard, veins bulged out. She picked up the phone and dialed. After a few rings, she said, "Hello?" The other side hung up immediately. Su Yuanfei called again, persisting, and this time a mechanical female voice answered, "Hello, the number you dialed has enabled the call reminder service." The entire scene, both us and the camera crew, fell into absolute silence. In everyone's mind at that moment, 10,000 horses were stampeding. We were silent, but the bullet comments were buzzing. Screenshot and group photo, family, a historic scene. Even those who don't ship sisterhood go silent. Su Yuanfei's scandal with the best actor is fake, and the sisterhood is plastic too. She's real, I'm crying. Woo woo, the best show I've watched this year, Mom, I've made it. Su Yuanfei shot me a hateful glare, said she needed to use the restroom with a grim face. The director, understanding, waved her off. The rest of us continued filming. This time, the bottle pointed to me. Truth or dare? The atmosphere felt a bit awkward, so I chose dare to lighten the mood. Song Gigi timidly said to me, "Call the best actor." Then, with an embarrassed look, she added, "I'm a Goodnight CP fan too." Sister Song, you're awesome. If Qing Wanwan didn't have those scandals, I'd really like her. The best actor. After I left, everyone misses us. Woo woo, I'm so moved. The above, if you can talk, write a book. No way, the best actor can't be paired with someone like her. Unable to refuse the pure and beautiful girl, I helplessly sighed and said, "Then what do I say?" Zheng Fei gave a wicked smile and proposed, "Say you're so annoying and see what reaction we get." Hearing this, everyone started cheering, and the bullet comments flooded with 666 instantly. After all, teasing the best actor like this is a once-in-a-lifetime event. Calmly, I picked up the phone and dialed the number someone specifically saved in my phone last night. Beep. Beep, hello? The person on the other end wasn't Xian'an, but a strange young man's voice. I said, "Hello," and the voice immediately rose by 8 decibels. My God! Is this little junior sister with this note actually Sister Wanwan? Wait, Sister Wanwan, I'll go find the boss right now, he's almost done with this scene. I was about to say it wasn't convenient and hang up, but all I heard was the whooshing sound of wind from running. The bullet comments instantly exploded. Damn, Nota's little junior sister. So intimate, everyone around him knows Wanwan is important to him. Screaming with my phone at night, my mom asked if I was crazy. I really hope Qing Wanwan clears things up quickly. I still don't believe her character is that bad. Same as above, the matter has been brewing all day and Qing Wanwan hasn't responded. Hey, Wanwan? His slightly breathy voice came from the other end, as if he had just run over, with a deep tone but indescribable gentleness. Seeing everyone's gazes on me, I took a deep breath and still said in a reproachful tone, "You're so annoying." Everyone held their breath, completely in awe of my courage. Especially Zheng Fei. He was actually just joking, now he looks regretful, his gestures indicating he really wants to pull out his own mouth. Pale-faced Zheng Fei begins to recover slowly, watching me with glee. Unexpectedly, that 188-centimeter tall man who dominates the entertainment industry now speaks on the phone with a pitiful tone, "Why won't you pair with me? Am I not standing high enough?" Before I can answer, the man's magnetic voice comes through the phone, "It doesn't matter, I will catch you eventually." I narrow my eyes. If not for the scar on his wrist, I wouldn't believe he was my elementary school pen pal. But, catch me, if he likes me, why did he leave without saying goodbye back then? Why has there been no news for so many years? The audience doesn't know my thoughts, they erupt again after hearing Xian'an's words. I'm so proud. In my lifetime, I can actually see the hottest actor trying to frame a nobody actress. Damn, what did I hear? I will catch you eventually. Woo-woo, even the actor loves but can't have her. I beg Wanwan to marry him, otherwise he'll be 30 soon. Beg Qing Wanwan to tell me her scandals are fake. I really don't want my idol to be with a disgraced artist. I'm from the Civil Affairs Bureau. I'll work overtime all night for them right now. Tonight's live broadcast comes to an end. I greet the director and prepare to leave, but as soon as I step out of the recording room, Zheng Fei follows me out. I put on a standard smile, planning to leave politely, but she blocks the path, not letting me pass. Once, twice, but not a third time. Just as I'm about to ask what she wants, she suddenly grabs my hand. Then there's a scream, and Zheng Fei falls to the ground, covering her forehead. Staff rushing out of the recording room are in chaos, shock plastered on several delicate, three-dimensional celebrity faces. I finally come to my senses. I've been set up. Due to the emergency, the show is forced to stop. Zheng Fei's injuries are minor, just a few bumps from hitting the wall. But she insists I targeted her and demands I withdraw from the upcoming recordings. Everyone knows she means tomorrow's couple duo recording. Boss calls, silent for a long time, then says, maybe withdraw first and wait for another chance. Although boss pretends nothing happened, I can hear the sound of his dream shattering in his tone. After hanging up, I glance at Weibo and finally understand why everyone looked at me strangely this morning. At 6 this morning, an account named Sayo suddenly posted a complaint. She says she was once my assistant, can no longer bear me participating in this major show arrogantly, and wants to expose my crimes of being domineering and abusing subordinates. According to Sayo, I, Qing Wanwan, have been squeezing my subordinates' rest time, giving them only half the statutory holidays, and deducting wages. When I have no work, I always vent by cursing at my assistant. The worst part was when her mother was hospitalized with a high fever, and I forced her to stay in the training camp. In the end, she had to resign to take care of her mother. The image included a work ID card from when she was my assistant, along with a medical bill for her mother's fever hospitalization. The most explosive part was a 30-second recording. In the recording, a woman said pitifully, "Sister Wanwan, can I request an advance on my salary and leave to take care of my mother?" A cold female voice responded, "No," a burst of noise, "Spend more time on work." The woman, sobbing, "Sister Wanwan, I'll resign then." This undoubtedly crossed the audience, and countless people erupted in scolding and outrage. Even though there were some rational voices questioning and asking for my response, the comments shifted from initial speculation about an unknown minor celebrity to outright condemnation. Hashtag Qing Wanwan workplace exploitation hashtag quickly trended on the hot search. By now, it had topped the list for 6 hours. The account owner named Sayo was indeed my former assistant. But I had no idea about the vivid accusations she made. The reason I fired her was that I caught her stealing my designer handbag, so I politely gave her severance pay and let her go. Thinking back, it's obvious that a hypocritical and greedy person would come out to direct me for some reason. Looking up, I noticed Xian'an had returned at some point, standing behind me. I didn't know how long he had been there. "Something wrong, handsome?" I asked with a grin. Xian'an, who had been frowning, suddenly smiled slightly at my words, gently patted my head, and said, "Want me to handle it?" "Little junior sister," I waved my hand, "no need, I have a plan." That night, amid the heated discussions about why did the show suddenly stop recording, and Qingwanwan's workplace bullying, a Weibo post of mine quieted the boiling water for a few seconds, only to stir up even bigger steam. At Qingwan, justice lies in people's hearts, wishing your mother good health. Attached was a recording over a minute long. The woman said pitifully, "Sister Wanwan, can I request an advance on my salary and leave to take care of my mother?" No. Since you started 3 months ago, your mother has had an appendectomy, a gastrointestinal endoscopy, and a rheumatism surgery. Each time, I gave you double your original salary, but within a week, it wasn't enough. When I asked for hospital receipts, you started hesitating. I'm not stingy, but I'm not stupid either. By the way, did you take the Chanel bag under my desk in my room? No need to hide it, I never told you my room has surveillance, consider it a gift. Spend more time on work, the woman, sobbing Sister Wanwan, I'll resign then. For a moment, the internet exploded, and public opinion did a 180-degree turn. Sayo deactivated their account under the onslaught of netizens. Damn. This is the first time I've seen such a dramatic reversal. How is Qingwanwan doing workplace bullying? I'd dream of having a boss like that. First time feeling the terror of public opinion, being too kind actually backfired because of a petty person. Woo I apologize, turned from black to fan. Same as above, really kneeling to apologize to Qingwanwan. Can't believe there are such bad people, not only stealing wages and bags but also slandering the original employer, suggest banning her from the entire industry. I always said Qingwanwan looks like a good person. I really like her face, and her personality is so great. Such a pity she was quiet in the entertainment industry before. What if it's fake? Doesn't she have a lot of money, even giving Chanel casually? This comment sparked countless rebuttals. Have you seen a capitalist lying dead in the entertainment industry for a whole year without filming? Support above. First of all, Qingwanwan didn't even do anything and was slandered and abused. Even if she is rich, so what? Can't good people be rich? Currently public opinion is split into 2 groups, most reflect and sympathize with me, a few stubbornly refuse to admit fault and suspect everything is scripted. Overall trend is still good, until a Weibo post from Zheng Fei appears. At Zheng Fei, not very lucky today, got a little hurt, don't worry everyone. Attached is a screenshot of a hospital bed, Zheng Fei looks haggard in the photo. Her fan army floods the comments section to comfort her. Woo, what happened to wife, looks so painful, how did you get hurt? Wasn't she just live streaming, how did she get hurt like this? Soon someone questions that the show recording wasn't dangerous, how could she get hurt for no reason, could it be man-made? A wave of paid trolls roll by, successfully leading to a self-proclaimed righteous messenger claiming to be a staff member. He says he can't take it anymore and must stand up for the truth, then posts a video of me pushing Zheng Fei. Zheng Fei comments immediately, "This is not good for Sister Wanwan, better delete it." Then successfully draws everyone's attention. The twist arrives, countless people return, damn, twist NB. So is Qingwanwan a good person or not? Bullying assistant might be fake, but pushing Zheng Fei has video evidence. Support Qingwanwan getting out of the entertainment industry, was transparent before, now full of scandals, definitely not a good thing. Not necessarily, this video is blurry, might not be Qingwanwan who pushed. Above, you mean Zheng Fei framed her? What motive does she have to bully a newcomer? While everyone is eating melons intensely, my Weibo comment section is also completely overrun. You bitch, a newbie keeps messing with our Fei Fei, so annoying. Zheng, how did your mom teach you? Rotten character, get out of the entertainment industry. Suggest industry-wide ban. In the boiling water, a Weibo post from Xian'an suddenly pushes this entertainment industry twist to a climax again. At Xian'an, Wan is fine, I'm fine too, good night everyone. Below is attached a video from that time, proving that Zheng Fei fell on her own, not that I pushed her. OMG, Gu the superstar personally stepped in to protect. And he called her Wan so affectionately, husband, tell me this isn't true. If you say Wan is a good person, I'll believe you. Who's been spreading that the superstar and Zheng Fei are a thing? Isn't it obvious? Zheng Fei tried to frame the superstar, but the superstar and Wan are together, so Wan pushed the mistress. That makes total sense, folks. This comment was liked by Xian'an, and the crowd went wild again. Woo-woo, my idol is so doting towards Wan, holy crap. The real person liked it, I'm satisfied. I never liked Zheng Fei anyway, her acting is terrible, her skills are poor. Her fake romance with my idol makes me feel worse than death, support. There must be a story between them. Otherwise, why would the superstar's ID always be Xian'an? I was stunned, scrolling through the comments from all the big shots on Xian'an's feed, watching as he turned the whole thing with one sentence from shady female artist into wife protecting her love. Zheng Fei's millions of fans were slightly outmatched under the assault of Xian'an's hundreds of millions of fans shouting protect our sister-in-law. The whole thing with the superstar was always a one-sided hype, everyone saw Zheng Fei wagging her tail and clinging to him on the reality show. Now that Xian'an and I are so in love, Zheng Fei couldn't explain it even with 100 mouths, so she had to swallow her pride and quietly bow out. Zheng Fei's Weibo and that video were quickly taken down, I sighed again. This world is just too see. Even though the previous night had been full of ups and downs. The couple's transition shoot the next day went ahead as scheduled. The helicopter dropped me off on the island and left. I took a deep breath and pushed open the door of the seaside villa prepared by the crew. A clear piano tune immediately rang out. Xian'an sat amidst a sea of flowers, playing Wedding in a Dream. He was quiet, absorbed as if he wasn't the one who spoke up for me last night. Suddenly, I remembered a scene from childhood. Back then, I was a mischievous tomboy, climbing trees to snatch bird eggs and catching crabs in the river. My father, frustrated with me, said, Wan, can you do something more ladylike, like writing or drawing? He seriously said he wanted to find me an excellent pen pal, to cultivate my quiet personality through letter writing. I was annoyed, slumped on his back, but we happened to pass by a piano room. Turning around, I saw a fair, thin boy sitting at the piano. I didn't understand music, but I thought the song was incredibly beautiful. Excitedly, I told my father, I want him as my pen pal. My father glanced over and quietly said, don't even think about it. Don't waste my precious student's time. I refused, slid off his back, and dashed straight to the piano room. I held my head high, placed the white paper on his piano lid, and said, I, Wan, formally invite you to be my pen pal. 12-year-old Xian'an looked at me, this short little kid obviously much shorter than him, and with a helpless smile signed his name and home address on the paper. His name then was still Xian'an, not later changed to his mother's surname, becoming Xian'an. I sent him my first letter, and he replied only after several weeks. He said, hello, little junior, I'm also very happy to meet you. Later, I found out he practiced piano at school on weekends because his parents were often away, and he found it too boring at home alone. So I happily took him up trees to steal bird eggs and down rivers to catch crabs, and always invited him to our home for meals. Once, I fell from a tree after losing my footing. To protect me, Xian'an got a 3 to 4 centimeter cut on his left wrist. I cried nonstop, terrified I had caused Xian'an's death or ruined his ability to play piano. Fortunately, we got to the hospital in time, and there was no major issue, just a scar left. Xian'an wiped my tears while smiling gently. Don't cry, it's a small thing. It's normal for a boy to have a little scar. I sniffled and nodded, vowing to treat him even better in the future. But that day was the last time I saw Xian'an. No goodbye, no warning, he just suddenly vanished from my world. At that time, I didn't know what like meant, only felt pain, deep pain in my heart. I often stared at the sky, muttering one person's name. But after many, many years, he never reappeared in my world. At some point, Xian'an's piano music stopped, and he walked before me, looking at me with such sincerity. He said so many things. He said his parents divorced then, and he was hastily taken to America by his mother. He said he missed me terribly in America, but because his parents' relationship was terrible, he had no relatives in China to contact, so he couldn't even find my contact details. He said after high school, his mother passed away. While studying hard, he waited painfully, finally waiting for the casting of that movie that could change his fate. He hoped his next appearance would still shine like in childhood, being my unshakable support. For that movie, he prepared for 3 years and shot for another full year, finally becoming the best actor. He could finally appear before me with pride. He said he missed me so much, and whether I still liked him or not, this small island was a gift for me. Not needed. I spoke stubbornly, but I didn't know when my face was covered in tears. Xian'an reached out, gently wiped my tears, and hesitantly asked me. "Little Junior, do you like me?" I didn't answer. I tiptoed, raised my head, and lightly pressed my lips to his. He was slightly startled, then wrapped his arm around my waist, lowering his head to respond to my kiss with even more fervor. Recently, several major events happened in City A. First, famous actress and national sweetheart Zheng Fei's diva behavior and reliance on connections led to her downfall. A high-definition video of her pushing Xian'an emerged, clearly showing she fell on her own. She also had a physical altercation with a woman claiming to be Xian'an's former assistant outside a hotel. According to informed media sources, this was due to disputes over the agreed compensation for the incident involving defamation of Ms. Xian'an. Second, an obscure small entertainment company suddenly signed a best actor. It is said the boss was so happy he couldn't sleep for 3 nights. Third, the obscure Xian'an, due to her excellent temperament and appearance, was chosen by director Zhou Xinqi as the lead actress for his new film. Upon release, the movie grossed over 2 billion yuan at the box office, catapulting Xian'an to fame as a renowned actress. Fourth, Ms. Xian'an and Mr. Xian'an went to the Civil Affairs Bureau on January 20, 2023, to obtain their marriage certificate. This day is celebrated as the Goodnight CP Carnival Day.